Microphone check 1 2, testing 1 2 3. All right, it says we are live. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos, and we are brought to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome back. Diving into the Nancy Guthrie case, going on 2 months now. So I didn't think I would have to do this, but we are scheduling some drone searches somewhere between Phoenix and Tucson. So we are looking into setting up some Starlink. That way I can bring it to you live, right? Maybe even connect the drone directly and have that live as well. But we can't do that without Starlink because you're not going to get any cell service out there. Not where I want to go. Yep, drones, Vicky. I want to do some grid searches. There's some technology that you can purchase online. It's basically AI. It looks for anomalies. Whether it's color, shape, size, and it'll highlight it for you. But I also like to go over the footage. So we're working on that. I've mapped out a couple places, and we'll see what's going on with the Starlink. Blood has been cleaned up. Matt's still there. What's up, Donna? Vicky, I hadn't heard that, Donna. I wonder if they put her in it, and thus those tracks. Well, the thing is, we don't have any images of the tracks before law enforcement showed up. Now, remember, law enforcement, they're going to leave all kinds of tracks there. It's good to see you, Pipers. Lottie. Fugitive TV done a lot on the Iranian connection. CJK, what up? Finally going to put this guy's face on billboards too. FBI says yes. Nanos hasn't replied yet. I think Nanos did reply. I think they even shut down a GoFundMe that was going around. And he said it has to go through official channels. And that they're working on it. I think it's going to go from San Diego all the way to Tucson, and then all around the border towns. But see, there's something about California. That's why we can't forget about Derek Kalela. Right, he comes from the LA area, San Diego area, and he travels to Phoenix and Tucson for his music. And also he travels to TJ, which is Tijuana, right across the San Diego border. Now you guys understand why I was over there. And they're still interested in that. That's where the billboards are going, from LA to San Diego and then back to Tucson, and then all throughout all of the border areas between San Diego and Tucson. Song of the Bride. Former FBI Jen Coffindaffer had on said Mouthlight reminded him of a German hard rock band he likes, Rammstein. Is that the Du Hast guys? Du Hast Mesh. Music connection with perp. Google Rammstein light in mouth. I saw that where it kind of lights up your teeth. We're not looking for something that lights up your teeth. We're looking for an actual flashlight. A flashlight that you can turn on and off with your mouth. Whether it's by hiding it or a combination of hiding it and clicking it on and off. Right? It's not his teeth that are glowing. He's literally has some kind of a light shining through his mouth. It's not something that's there behind his teeth. It's between his teeth. All right. I'm going to pull up the magnifier here. So after running the experiments myself, right? Using my own cameras in the dark with the mask and this specific light that I have. One thing I learned is remember we were wondering if this was a reflection. No, that's the actual light. He has it still turned on inside of his mouth. It's glowing through his lip, through his beard, and through the ski mask, causing like a little bright spot right here. Excuse me. So why does it even matter if we can find out what type of light he uses? Well, one of the reasons that it was important to me personally for my own amateur investigation was this right here. Forget Savannah. It's almost like we have tunnel vision with Savannah. What about just the Catalina Hills? That whole area, that's where all of the high income people, right? That's where they live in Tucson, up on the hills, looking down at all the peasants. That's how it should be, right? That's what you work hard for, right? One day we were going to be up on that hill. Here, maybe I should pull up the map. Hold on real quick. So maybe this person was just targeting like the rich area, the high income area. Every home that you look at is owned by a doctor. Okay, so they're marketing towards marketing it towards electricians here. What does every remodel or construction site need? It needs an electrician. Cheap, right? Something you might be handed out on your first day at the job. A little welcome package. Maybe like a logo sticker on it or something. So who would have a keychain light like this that seems to be perfect for electricians or technical people? Somebody who might normally just hold a regular flashlight in their mouth. But tonight that doesn't make sense, right? But they are ready to use their hands. For what? To grab Nancy, to use their tools to remove the camera, and also to break into the home. And then once in the home, to subdue Nancy physically. A musician setting up a dark stage, possibly, yeah, that too. Hands free, but usually stages aren't that dark. They're dark, but you can ask for light. Craft eccentricity. Nancy never took her 10 p.m. meds, and I think she wasn't capable of taking them. I believe she was poisoned at dinner and left on the garage floor until later. That's the Tommaso and Annie theory. I think it's definitely somebody that I don't think it's Tommaso, but I think it's somebody that looks like him, has similar features, and is built like him. Beach. What's up, Shauna Herrera? I heard back doors unlocked. Yeah, but we're definitely looking for a technical person, maybe somebody that works with small tools in dark areas, like an electrician. So what I did was I purchased the 699 right here. Sorry if that's loud. I'm in the garage. It's hot. 699, and I think it came with five or six. Let me see. Let me grab the package. Yeah, it looks like it came with six. So the other day I was looking at the map and I was like, just kind of staring at it, like trying to see if anything stood out to me. Like, what's different about where Nancy lives and the rest of, Tucson? Well, the truth is, Catalina Hills, that's where you go if you're trying to target rich people. So they could have just been casing out the neighborhood, and it was the neighborhood that was the target. And it just so happened that Nancy, right? All these workers walking by, cutting through her yard. Hi, Nancy. How's it going? Making small talk. People like Carlos, right? FedEx driver, delivery driver. How's it going, Nancy? Thanks for the good tip. I appreciate it. What do you got going on? Oh, I'm just watering my plants over here. All the way almost into the neighbor's property. It looks like she had a garden or something. So maybe workers even over there at her neighbor's home are communicating with her. Um, I visited a home up the street that was being rebuilt. Construction workers could have been targeting her. But that is definitely something that I noticed, right? Maybe they targeted the area. And then once you target the area and you start casing it out, leaving cameras everywhere, like kind of stalking people, checking, using people to make small talk. Just figuring things out, asking a lot of questions, gaining access to information, and then just zeroing in on Nancy. Like, oh, you live alone? Like, I'm almost curious to see who installed the camera. Oh, it looks like we have some people calling in. Hold on. What the hell? All right, if you're trying to call in again. That's weird. I have it up. There it is. Hello, hello. Thank you for calling
Hi.
the Sleuth Intuition channel. What's up?
Yeah, a few days back you had visited the wash, and then you had mentioned you called one of Nancy's neighbors who was a old doctor who lived
Yes.
next door, I think you said,
No, it was the guy.
and that he didn't.
Here, hold on. Let me pull it up. Yeah, he's a retired doctor.
Yeah, and that you asked him to go in the back, but he
Mm-hmm.
didn't really go in the back area. I noticed at that time, I don't know why, but it looked like there was a cement from a concrete pool that was being built,
This guy right here.
but I never have been able to find a photo of that again. And I don't know why, but it's been on my mind. And I thought, what if her neighbor? What if she's in the neighbor's
Yeah,
house?
she could be
I mean, what if he had like a crush on
just
her or
stalking
something,
her.
and he went
Well,
over there
you could
with the
be something.
with a
Yeah,
wheelchair?
yeah, the wheelchair theory,
He's a doctor.
mental health issue.
He's 90 years old or whatever. Maybe he just wants attention. And then there was that one ex post where they put the um, coordinates, and it was kind of next to where that house, and there's that concrete pool. So there could be very real be something underneath there as
Mm-hmm.
well. But I don't know why, it's just been staying in my head. And then also one more thing is that those photos definitely are Tommaso, and it's just so weird. And also how the people showed up and took the pictures
I mean, you
and
can't
all
say
of
it's
that.
Tommaso for sure though, but I definitely agree.
Oh, I'm sorry. In my opinion,
Yeah,
in my
I mean,
opinion,
there's just
but I
absolutely
mean,
no
he's
way to
just
prove
so
that. Yeah,
close
I
with the
agree.
walking, It's
The
just
nose, it's the
amazing.
nose for me.
But also too, they never really talk about any following up on that Kyla Day or whatever her name is.
Mm-hmm. Kayla.
Because Kayla Day and that whole connection, because isn't she related? Like she's Nancy Guthrie's
It's
granddaughter or
possible, but
something.
no,
Like this
not from
is.
what I found.
Oh, okay. But just so odd how those people just showed up there like that, though. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're doing a great job. I really appreciate all your
Thanks.
info, and it's a good thing to go out there. But I don't know why that whole neighbor thing just really the doctor guy. I just have a feeling over there. So if you
Well, it
talk to
makes
him
sense. I
again,
mean, it's a really good theory because it's not too elaborate, it's not too far fetched. It's more realistic than anything. Somebody that sees Nancy, somebody that might even be having some type of an episode and for whatever reason decides to target her knowing that she's vulnerable for whatever reason. I think you might
yeah,
be onto
maybe he's
something.
just in love. Maybe he's just in love
Yeah.
and doesn't want to be alone.
She
You
has
know.
her own personal life too. And we don't know what she's up to. You know what I mean?
Exactly. 9 o'clock and the pole
Yeah.
comes out. No, just kidding.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, old people like to party. I remember at one time I read a report that they were the highest um age
The
group
sexual
STDs.
promiscuity, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
good for
yeah.
them. Good for them.
Well, let's hope that they find her soon. But I'm knock on that door for sure. But yeah, do you know what I'm talking about though with that concrete pool?
The one
It looks
that's
like there's
near her.
well, it to me it seemed like it was in the doctor's backyard. Like it was something new, and it was just a big piece of. I mean, it just like it had just been poured. It looked like the concrete had just been poured, and it was just a big square
Well, this is
in
it.
that
Oh,
doctor's.
you're talking about. See, I didn't talk to that guy.
Oh, okay.
This guy right here. I didn't speak
I
with
don't,
this individual. I spoke with this guy.
oh, you have the picture right there. I've not been able to see that again.
Yeah,
That whole thing, because remember when they were going around the side of the house and stuff? Who's next door right there?
it's
That
another
to me
doctor.
is
These are
sus.
all
I
these
don't
are
know
all
why.
doctors right here. All six of these
Oh,
individuals.
but that really caught my eye because that's new. It's not on any of the older photos unless this is a really old photo, but I haven't been able to see that. And then the other thing that I was thinking about is that because I was looking and there's a lot of houses for sale because they were talking about the construction and the empty houses.
Mm-hmm.
There's uh, the open houses because on Saturdays, they pick up the signs, or they put the signs out or whatever. It's kind of sus too, like, people creeping around at the open houses. But I don't know, that house right there, that pool and that concrete and all that to me stood out when you did that show.
Yeah, these are the coordinates that Servando Sanchez Hernandez provided on social media. But he seems like he's
Yeah.
going through like he seems
I
very
don't even
manic.
know. Yeah, who knows? But who knows? You know
Yeah,
what
who
I
knows?
mean?
Maybe
Like,
that's what
what if
we're looking
there's like
for.
a little?
Maybe that's part of the
What
recipe.
if there's like a little? What if there's like a little under? Because there's a few places like they have shelters underneath. Bomb, or they have what are those things called? Wine cellars, stuff like that. But I don't know. It stuck out of my head, and all I could think of was, oh, the crazy doctor probably went and knocked on your door, or something happened. He's like, where you been?
Well, interesting. The
I've been
doctor,
waiting on
the
you.
doctor that's lives right here, the retired guy that I talked to, he's right around the same age,
Right,
and he's well
right.
known.
But you didn't talk to the. Oh, he's across in the
He's right
back.
here. This guy,
Okay.
he's really nice. He never called me back. Had
Yeah.
a pretty good conversation with this guy here.
It must be tough, for all those people
But
they
look,
all
they're
want to
all
know on
rich. So
TV.
imagine
And
if you're stalking all these people. You're like walking through the washes, and you're like a
I
peeping
tell
tom.
you,
And then you find Nancy.
the interview that they
Yeah, and
did
you
with the
just see
neighbor.
Nancy. She's all alone. You're like, dang, right here.
I know. That interview that they did with the neighbor, Brian Enton, the first girl, the woman with blonde hair. At first, she's like, "Oh, it's such a nice neighborhood, and everybody's so nice." And then halfway into it, she goes, "Yeah, there's a lot of really weird people around here." it was, it's like they don't want to say it, they don't admit it. They cross over one street, and it's like, hell or whatever.
Well,
I
it's
don't
just
know.
what it is. It's just homeless people that are taken to these washes and going and living under the
Yeah,
bridges
I
because
know,
it's
and
so
that's what
hot in
happens.
Arizona. When it's so hot, that's your only choice.
Well, that's what happens, when the economy and everything, and they start going up to where it's kind of like the wild animals when they get burned down in a fire. They start coming in looking for stuff. And the same thing with when there's such a big juxtaposition between the wealth and the poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And you have people that are just sitting up there and they're in their, little houses, and they're all rich, and they're thinking everything's so safe. And then, there's other people that are struggling and going through whatever just to make it through the day. And the lines, they're not the invisible lines that, society adheres to are blurred now because of that. And so it's, I don't think they're going to be saying that neighborhood is very safe in the future. That's for
Well, that's the
sure.
crazy thing about true
After all
crime.
this.
It's the crazy thing about true crime is it's like a lottery. It's the lottery that you do not ever want to win. And you don't you if you
You mean being the person
is
who solved it?
is the no who is the victim of a true crime, is the
Oh, of
victim.
course, of
Like
course.
Nancy, who I
Well,
guarantee she never in her wildest dreams would have thought that this would happen to her and her family.
I could even go like, even farther, because immediately when it first happened, it was right when Clinton's got subpoenaed. And I always, I've been around long enough to see the Clintons. Every time they come, something happens. You know what I mean? Because that's
Yeah.
their MO. They have to. So immediately I thought, okay. And then eventually I learned that there was a Clinton connection. And
Mm-hmm.
being at Universal, NBC Universal, that's the top. You know what I mean? And so to be on that show and to,
Oh, and
there's a
she's not
lot of
modest
stuff
about it
that
either.
goes.
She's not modest
Well,
about
there's a
being on
lot
that
of
show.
things that, yeah. And I always thought to myself, why did she put her mom on the show?
Because it's a
Like,
topic. It's a top. She didn't have any
she was
material.
like, right. But it was just so strange. Like, if I were Hoda, I would be bent out of shape. It's like, your mom's on the show, but I can't be on the
But
show or
I do have
whatever.
to
You
admit,
can't afford
Nancy
me.
is very photogenic. Like I don't know if she did it in her past, but
I haven't seen a
she looks
lot of
good
her,
on
but
the
she was
screen.
very pretty. Very pretty. Yes, and she enjoyed it as well.
Yeah,
So
some
you could
people are just
tell.
made for it, I guess. But she looks good on
You could
camera.
tell where Savannah got it.
Yeah, and she does good interviews. Like she's good on camera.
Yeah, so no, but I mean, it's just when you
Plus, I
get
think it
to
might
that
even be the
level.
target, like her target market might be that age group.
Oh, there you go. It's all the
Yeah,
demographics and the
marketing. There might,
morning and
yeah,
all that
there might be
stuff.
marketing behind it.
Right. Right. Well, to get up there and be on that show, in NBC
Target
Universal and
demographic.
$40 million and all that stuff, there's a lot of stuff that goes into play with that. So, yeah, she, like you said, she probably never even imagined any of this. But then I have one more theory, and I'm gonna like put my theoretical. I'm not even what do they call it, true crime. I mean, this is the first time I've ever really, really gotten into it. But I think about a lot of things, and I don't know why, but it seems to for women, they get real analytical and want to solve things. I don't know, but the whole
No,
thing with
women are targeted
Annie,
specifically.
I over true
No,
crime
I mean just as a
because they
no,
watch
I'm
it and
saying as a
stuff.
victim.
Yeah, no
Hmm.
kidding. I mean, what is the numbers? What's the
Well, it's like the
percentage?
elderly, children,
You
and
know,
women, and then men are the least.
wow.
And a lot of times they're
Yeah.
responsible, and then you have this whole theory or philosophy that maybe women are just as responsible, but because we have tunnel vision, we just don't suspect them, or they're able to hide in plain sight, right? We're not looking for, the quiet woman in the
Well,
background.
what do you think about like Annie being like? This is what my thinking is now with the whole thing with Italy, because they were supposed to go to Italy, or Savannah was supposed to go to Italy for the Olympics. What happened if there was a big argument that maybe like because Tommaso's from Italy and maybe they
Is he
wanted to
from
go to
Italy?
Italy, but he's Italian, isn't
I
he?
don't know. I thought he was
I thought he was.
Hispanic.
Yeah, I thought he was from
He
Italy.
look
No,
Yeah,
he's
he
from
looks
Italy.
like he looks Hispanic to me.
Now he's Tim Associone. He's from Italy, and so and then they wanted to go to Italy, and then but somebody had to stay home to take care of Nancy. You know what I mean? And then I was thinking like in that restaurant interview, even though it was just a little bit of clip, they really didn't show much of Annie.
No, she was just kind of
So
sitting in the background a little bit.
yeah, like she's like this invisible,
But
invisible
Savannah did
person.
go
So
hard for Annie when her book came out. Like she did a whole special on it, and she probably made her a millionaire. Um,
well, that's good.
yeah,
Well, yeah, that's good. So you never. I mean, didn't want to say anything bad about the family because that's the worst thing you could ever do is accuse somebody who's already being, has already been terrorized or victimized or whatever. But
exactly.
it just was always off from the very beginning. Like, why would this woman be alone all by herself in the middle of the
Yeah, I mean,
desert?
and we don't want to
So
go giving them too much credit and start being sanctimonious. The truth is, we have no evidence that points at them, but we cannot ignore the fact that he does fit the
except for
physical
that
description.
footwalk.
Yeah, the physical description is spot on. That doesn't mean he did it. Physical description can match
Right.
us, you know?
I'm even sus about that video because they didn't have that at the very beginning. You know, it
True.
came out first. They didn't know. It's like, well, she's missing. Is she? This whole thing with
What's up,
the
Don?
the letters.
Which,
The letters can be just made up.
like, all of the ransoms are hoaxes?
Well, I mean, at first it was like she was missing, and that's probably why they never called in the feds. And then once it became the ransom, then it becomes a kidnapping, and then the feds come in. So it was all kind of sketchy from the get go,
Yeah, how
Like
did
she's
Derek
just
Colella
missing.
have the phone number for Tommaso? That also puts him in line to have inside
Yeah,
information. Remember, that's how they
there's too
verified
many
the other
links.
ransoms. They said these ones are good because they had inside information. Well, if somebody like Derek knew Tommaso and Annie personally, he might be in a position to gain inside information.
Or maybe he just thought, hey, man, I know this guy. I'm going to reach out and see if he got the money.
Yeah, he
I
might have
don't know
heard
what,
heard it through
like,
the
somebody, would
grapevine.
you ever do that if you knew somebody and you knew somebody like, 6 degrees of separation? And you knew they were waiting to hear from the kidnappers or whatever. Would you ever text somebody, hey, did you ever get that Bitcoin to give to the kidnappers? Just because you knew somebody 6 degrees of separation. It just sounds too, I would
No, what
never
I
do
mean what
that.
I mean is that somebody that knows Tommaso, like a mutual friend between Tommaso and Derek, spoke
Might
to
have told
Derek and
them.
said, "Hey, guess what I heard? I heard that this
Right.
happened and their pacemaker was disconnected. Like I have all this
Oh,
inside information." And then Derek goes, "Oh, really?" Then he sends his ransom demand. Like, here's inside information. Yeah, something
Oh,
like that is what I meant.
that makes sense because I thought he responded after the first note went out,
He did.
and
So one went out on the
then his ex,
third, and then his went out, and then his went out on the fourth.
yeah, and then he was just kind of like trying to say, "Well, I just called them for no reason because I
Hmm.
could. I had
Yeah,
his number."
he sent two text messages, one to Tommaso and one to Annie, and then a 9-second
Yeah,
call asking for Bitcoin. Like, come on, like something's not right. And then to find out he's
right.
connected to Tucson, that's crazy.
It's just too many, like, coincidences aren't um random.
You don't
When you
believe in
have a
coincidences?
coincidence,
I do.
no,
I believe in
no,
coincidences.
really.
Yep, that's how innocent men end up in prison all the time. Coincidences.
Well, that's true, I guess.
Hmm.
Maybe that's like a side aside from karma or something. If it was, but if they're innocent, I guess that doesn't have anything to do with it. Oh, well, that's cool. That's a different perspective I never thought of. Hmm. Yeah, no, I don't know. I always think like coincidences are like, that's, but I guess proving something in a court of law is a lot different than just
Hmm.
observing it. Like, oh, it's coincidence and now I'm in jail. You know what I
I,
mean?
and I don't mean
So
write it everything off as, oh, it's just a coincidence. They happen all. I'm saying, like, hey, a coincidence is like a red
it can
flag,
happen.
but yeah, it's not
Uh-huh.
a end all be all, or however they say it.
Right. It's not, yeah, it's not solid. That's why they call it circumstantial evidence. So
Which
this
can
case
end
is
you, yeah,
completely
on
circumstantial.
death row. Circumstantial evidence can lead to the death penalty,
Yeah.
which is kind of scary.
Wow. Just don't get in front of the courts. The accuser will get you.
Yeah, don't call the cops. That's for sure.
Hey, you be careful out there. Did you ever go to the place where they do their stuff?
No,
The
I didn't.
fetish ball or whatever?
No, we all got sick, and my son, he's only 6 months, and he kind of got his first
Well,
cold,
good.
so I felt bad.
Good. Maybe that was meant to be. Maybe that was a coincidence.
Yeah, and I was
To
kind of
keep you
feeling like
home.
I didn't want to seem stalkerish, and I also felt like I could accomplish getting
Be
an
stalkers
interview.
and show up.
Yeah, I didn't want to, like, I don't know, it just didn't seem like the right
Well, you know
plan.
what? Another weird thing is like that place where they held that. It's called the La Rosa Cathedral or something like that. But
Oh,
they
the old
literally had
church?
that fetish ball. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I was
I
thinking
wonder
the
if there's
same
like
thing.
have like usually churches and stuff like that. They have like underground
The truth is,
places.
though, most of those type of people are just posers. It's
It's like
the
Halloween, perpetual Halloween.
Yeah, and plus it's more of the camaraderie, the community, but there's always that
Right.
outlier, that one
Oh yeah.
that's really about it. That's the
Right.
guy I'm looking for,
Or they
perhaps.
have their agenda.
And
Their
maybe
own.
nobody even knows, right? He's acting like he's one of these masqueraders, but really, he's really all about it. Like, they're over here maybe using fake blood. Shit, he might be using real blood. That might be
Right.
a fake skull. He might have actually dug this one up.
Well, and then that whole thing with like the letters, we never got to see the first letter. And they talked about how it was so elegant and well written. And, one of the reasons why they probably didn't release it is because a lot of times you can pick up personality traits or distinguish, certain uses of elocation or whatever, however you want to describe writing styles and that sort of thing. And, the whole thing is like Annie is the writer in the family.
Thanks,
I
Steve.
mean, even though Savannah does have a book, but also too, what we're standing on the ashes of, that whole thing where
Peter.
she leaves that letter about we're embers of ashes and all that stuff. That's too creepy. you know,
I mean, not
that's
really.
not.
Only when we're trying to make it fit into a theory, yeah, it's, oh
You
my,
think so? Well, yeah.
yeah.
If we didn't know about that ball, the fetish ball, then it wouldn't really associate. But once you know about it, and then it's called the scorched earth or whatever it was,
Yep.
and then she writes a letter talking about standing on scorched earth, and we're standing in the ashes of scorched earth or something like that. That's really like, but yeah, it's and that's what probably is so interesting about true crime is that it's like you're viewing it through a secondary medium, And so you can ascribe different perspectives that you wouldn't normally in real life. And so when
Hold
you
on real
respond
quick.
in that way,
Caller, real quick.
you
Moderators.
got another call? No worries.
No. We're going to get rid of some people. Moderators, let's get rid of Miracle Stone and let's get rid of Steve-O. If you don't like what you see, just leave. You don't have to leave a negative comment. Moderators, so Steve-O's out and a Miracle Stone is out. Jari, if you could. All right, caller, continue. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for giving me some time on the phone.
Sure.
No, I was just going to say I like how you have that perspective where how you say, well, it's when you look at something, you're trying to make it fit in. And that's not something I don't know if that is a trait of watching it through that secondary medium and normally wouldn't do that in real life, like if you had, experience with it. But I like that you have
Thanks,
that
Don.
because it's a very, it's a good media, it's a good barometer to keep everything, to keep so that you don't run off the rails and, with all these crazy thoughts and stuff. Because that's probably why.
Yeah, you have to keep yourself grounded. You have to keep yourself grounded for sure.
Because your imagination can run off, in 1,000 different directions. And so it keeps, so you're like constantly trying to resolve the what if this, what if that. But, yeah, so I mean, hopefully they'll be able to get some resolution because it just seems like it. I don't think that people will just let it sort of disappear. Like, oh well, she just disappeared, and we're not interested anymore.
No, that's exactly what happens. If people don't bring attention to a case, it'll disappear. That's one thing. If you have a tragedy that happens in your family or to one of your friends or neighbors that's important to you, it's up to you to turn it into a high profile crime or case. You can't just sit back and say, "Oh my God, this isn't like why aren't they getting attention like Nancy?" No, it's up to you to go out there and make all that noise and to rally people around and to build up that loud noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I saw Nancy Grace on yesterday, and she had said something about, well, why don't they have that picture of the possible suspect on the billboards?
Thanks,
and
NJ.
Then I heard Coffendecker say the same thing, so maybe they'll change that. But do you have any ideas or any comments on that yellow sign, the new signs? Is that just somebody trying to get attention to another case?
Yeah, you should go watch the live streams that we did on them. We did 2 in a row. Basically, I think,
good.
And I feel confident that it's her ex-husband or lover, Ben McNeil, I think is his name.
Of the other person's name that's on the sign?
No, I believe he's the one that left the signs.
For what purpose? Just to call attention?
Yeah, I think he might be a little manic himself. Something's going on with him. He might need somebody to go check on him.
Oh, and what about one more thing what do you think about the whole fact, and nobody's really spoken about this very much, is that apparently there was a lot of Facebook interaction. Not just necessarily my Facebook Messenger got hacked, but a lot of political rhetoric sort of thing. And do you have any perspective on any of that at all?
I mean, yeah, it was an initial.
In terms of what you learned or anything, because at the very outset, I was on BitChute, and one of the first things I had seen about the case was that they tried to link it to Trump because BitChute, I don't know. They tried to link it to Trump, and that because she had this grudge and that sort of thing. But I never heard anything about it on any other channel. Huh?
Yeah, that's still kind of angled towards Savannah being the motivation or the target. Right. Let's go to Nancy to get to Savannah. But I'm getting away from that now.
I think that's a horrible thing to say. I mean,
it could be possible.
Imagine just
possible.
It could. And most likely, I mean, if you think about it, because the big players in the world, but could it just be, is it just like a little coincidence? Like it just sort of happened.
It's too simple. I don't know if anybody would be that motivated.
Right, right. It's just something that sort of happened. It's like wrong place at the wrong time.
I
And
like your neighbor theory, honestly.
yeah, well, I don't even know how to explore it or anything else, but all I know is there's
That's like
no other
Occam's
photos.
razor. That's like Occam's razor.
The easiest, simple thing. Well, and
Mm-hmm.
then it goes back to, isn't it like that movie with, gosh, what was it? Oh God, what is his name? Where he got his legs broken by the neighbor, Kathy Bates. Wasn't that his neighbor?
Misery?
Yeah, was that his neighbor? Or he broke his
No,
car down and she saved him or something like
no, it
that.
was just a fanatic.
Oh, okay. Because I know that there's probably some movie where the neighbor kidnapped the other neighbor or
Yeah, that's a
something
good
like that.
theory. I think there might be a mental health component. Maybe somebody has a motive that we just can't really put our finger on because it's just kind of really out there.
Yeah, a lot of these boomers, they get really, really into interactions online with like, putting out comments that you really wouldn't say in public.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, just stuff that tends to be inciting people because basically they're just everybody's reacting to what they see on the news or whatever, because none of that is happening in their real life if they were to walk out their door, but yet they're reacting in such a emotionally charged way that, I mean, it's got to be able to, it's, especially when it comes to the way the TDS and all of that, um, people act out, just like the kids who act out, the furries or whatever, that act out and try to kill the president, or, people get incited by other people saying things about what they think in terms of political stuff, and then they go out and they hurt people because of it. So, if you're a boomer and you're doing that, try not to. I mean, I know Gen X people who do it as well, and I think that the best thing that anybody can do is to not get trapped in
All
that
right,
world and think,
caller, final thoughts. Let's wrap this call up
oh
real quick.
yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, thank you. I don't mean to
No, you're
manipulate
good.
your
I
time or
appreciate it. This
anything
is
like
a
that.
good call. Great call, but
Yeah,
we're
so
gonna wrap
that's
it
all
up.
I wanted to say. Yeah, thank you so much. And that's all I wanted to say is that, just be mindful, not to be insightful, and think about your neighbor, and be kind. And what is that? The golden rule?
The
To
golden
treat others
rule.
the way you want to be treated. And that's all. I
And it's
appreciate
pretty
your
and it's very
time.
simple.
Blessings to everybody.
Very simple. Thank you so much for your
It
call.
is. You're welcome. Stay
Bye bye.
safe.
All right. Let's close down the calls for a little while. Great call. Does anybody think the porch guy could be left-handed? All right, we're going to do something a little bit different today. But before we do, I wanted to ask you guys your opinion on this guy.
If you say they challenge the public if you saw anything on these dates, and I actually did, but I didn't know until I looked at my calendar.
So you're saying someone was going to an open house and wrote their name down who was suspicious, who had been there before going in and out?
Right.
And he
Thanks,
was just
caller.
suspicious. People were calling in saying, who is this guy?
My neighbors.
Your neighbors were?
Me, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so it wasn't just some random.
Yeah, and so that's the same night that the date that they gave us on TV,
Right.
which is about 12 miles away. Because if you go down Campbell, left on River, right on Alvernon, that's where the open house is. It's not far from here.
Okay.
And I just thought, so anytime you go to open house, you got to sign your name, ID.
Right.
And if the name of that person is there, if it's the person.
Does he have to show his ID, or can he just?
So what's going on with this guy? He kind of fits the description. And why does he have a folder filled with like properties? You know what I mean? Watch, let's fast forward. Look. He's got all these different properties. Like what is he up to? What is this? And he kind of looks like the guy a little bit. Well, he said his neighbors were calling him. Here, let's watch the rest.
Not far from here.
Okay.
And I just thought so.
And he kind of has like this scar on his lip everybody keeps talking about. It's just
Anytime you
weird.
go to open house, you got to sign your name, ID.
Right.
And if the name of that person is there, if it's the person.
Does he have to show his ID, or can he just?
Look, he's got like the same kind of lips going on. And I don't know, is this guy, he seems kind of like he might be Middle Eastern or something. Aren't they looking for Middle Eastern folks, Iranian people or something?
Write any old name?
Well, see, I thought of that too.
Yeah.
A fake ID.
Right.
See, and he's like, I thought of that. I thought about that. A fake ID. Maybe that's what I should have done. You know, he's like, what the fuck?
I would assume they got to show some kind of ID.
Right. Okay.
Because the real estate agents just can't let anybody.
Right.
You know.
Right? He's like injecting himself into the case. Italian, what's up? Thank you for the super chat. Says thanks again for everything you do, Patrick. Appreciate you a lot. Thank you, NJ. Forbidden says he's a suspect. He fits the description. And he's a little bit odd. Gloria says no tattoo. Trying to force Nancy out of her home so the family sells the place. Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Rand Dizzle. That's interesting.
Yeah. And they want to.
Otherwise, if hopefully.
Right, I'll get that fucking commission.
And the name of that is of the real estate agent. If you can expedite this for me, that's fine.
There's people watching, but I would do what he said.
Habitation Realty. Her name is Heidi Foley. She's on vacation right now, so
Okay.
I already talked to her. She knows about it. But if they can get to that list, and
you called the FBI tip line?
I called twice, and I even went to the FBI here in Tucson.
Something's off about this guy. He had open house and neighbors called him about suspicious person. He's called DVI and came to Nancy's to tell someone, but can't get the cops to speak to him. Or he really wants somebody to look at a specific name so that he can redirect. Right? He's trying to redirect, like, go look at this guy. Right? I tried to tip it in. They didn't even care. It's like go look at this name because I came up with this brilliant plan, right? This countermeasure. Potentially, hypothetically, theoretically. All right. So I want to show you guys what is going on with this light. So let's do this. I pulled one of my Wi-Fi security cameras and brought it into my studio here in the garage. And I think we can mess with it so I can show you why I believe this is the specific light that was used. So here's my studio. Don't mind, it's under construction. Eventually you'll see like walls that will be built right here where you see the cloaking there. You should be able to see me. There you go. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do, I think, is shut off the lights. Here, let's shut off the lights real quick. Celia Trillo. Trillo. Yeah, seems very nervous, a little bit odd. Griffs and Grace, what's up? The list was the list of names of people who attended the open house. Oh, is that true? Where'd you find that out? If that's true, that's very interesting. If that's the list that they were using, wow. Just to kind of track down a lead? That's not how probability works. You should know that. Ask Luna. Makes no sense. They just didn't want to listen to him. This guy standing outside the car doesn't look like Porch Guy. Marinara. Maybe he's the guy. Shit, he could be. He definitely wants people to look at this list of names. His ham-fisted hand, Morions. Strategic. This guy owns a property for sale. His car is in the photos. Jay for Justice did sleuthing today. Check out her live. Says some pipe. Cop should listen to all leads. Weirdness continues. I agree. He needs to send someone else to redirect when you match the perp's characteristics. Yeah, and I think everybody's starting to match the characteristics. It's like, get out of the car, sir. Assume the position. Right? Just start frisking him and shit. Like, what the hell? Sherry says, any tattoos? I'm not sold on the tattoo. But like I said, we'll mess around with the lights. We have the holster. We have the backpack. I do have some of these black medical type gloves. I have the light that I want to show you. Of course, we have the ski mask. I know it's a little bit creepy, but it is for educational purposes. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear me. Maybe I can turn the audio on. Yeah, maybe you guys can hear me now. Hold on. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear the camera. All right, Kuna. Thank you. So Nancy's probably angry, a little bit sharp. We might have. So here's the light. I don't know if you guys can. So here, I'll show you what the light actually looks like. So basically, you can push it, or there's a little switch that you can kind of really, you can just kind of turn it on and off with your teeth. Thank you, Kelly. Okay. So I'm going to put on the ski mask. I know it's kind of creepy. Don't get weirded out. Hold on. Okay, now I want to see if this is the right one.
So here,
So it's
off.
I'm just going to stick it in my mouth.
Stick it in my mouth. Look.
So I don't know if that helps. Here, let me turn that mic off. Let's see. I got a text message. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I had to switch my internet real quick. Yeah, so I'm pretty convinced that that's the light that's being used. I don't know what you guys think about that. All you have to do is take it off of this key ring and it just fits right in your mouth like nothing. You can turn it on and on with your teeth very easily. Here, I think I did another video earlier. Let me see if I saved it. So I just turned the lights off. It's gone and did it to show you guys how it glows through the mouth. See, look, completely hidden. You can just turn it right off with your teeth. Or you can bite down on it if you wanted to. Honestly, I thought it was easier just to bite down on it. You can leave it on, watch it. Leave it on and hide it in your mouth. And it glows through the side. You see that? Now watch this. Look it right here. Same thing going on. See how it's glowing through? I have it inside of my mouth. So I think some of the times he just kind of puts it back in his mouth. He doesn't even turn it off. Thank you, Forbidden. Oh shit. Um Sherry Flores gifted 10 Sleuth Intuition memberships. Thank you. Thanks, Sherry. Don, what do you think, man? I think this is the light. I think we found it. And for whatever reason, Amazon is trying to market it towards electricians. And there's been a lot of talk about construction, remodeling. You know, you can't do any of that without electricians. I mean, they're very important. Porch Guy's ski mask was really tight. Here, let me pull up the camera again. There's a couple things I wanted to show you because I know some of you are trying to debunk the backpack. All right, let's try this. Let's start with this. All right, guys, you be the judge. This will be our 5-minute warning. We'll hang out in the chat for the remainder. The gloves look lighter. They seem tighter. Ones are medium. I think we need to get a different type of glove, honestly, Don. Did I drool? What are you talking about? Did you drool? Kuhneberger. Lighter color. Try 2 gloves. What kind of gloves are you referring to? Like the same kind of gloves or those gloves over another type of gloves? Yeah, I know it kind of seems a little bit gross, but yeah, I did. I kind of slobbered all over it. I didn't drool. It's really small. Like it's not a burden. Like whoever did this planned to use their hands. They needed both of their hands. Probably to pick a lock or to dismantle cameras. He was doing something. He needed a small light to focus in on a small area so he wouldn't draw on a lot of attention. And at any point, he could just kind of hide the light and disappear. And if he needed to, let's say, get into a scuffle, he's got both of his hands ready. If he needs to pull his gun, his hands free. And he kept his backpack, apparently, it looks like a little bit open. So I don't know if he has some tools that he can kind of reach in and grab quickly or not. Yeah, I could swallow. I could hardly notice it. Terry says mask eyes were bigger. Yeah, maybe it's not the right one. Saliva with flashlight. Could you swallow with that light without touching it? Yes. I could barely tell it was there. Maybe that's what they recovered. That little light. It was also 35 degrees that night. I think his hand was bound up, gauze under the glove. Maybe Nancy bit him. Perps have been putting up camouflage camera surveillance people now. Absolutely, the Crypto Zoo. We did a live stream on that. Welcome in, by the way. Randizzle, please dispose of gloves properly. Absolutely. Consider it done. 24 roses. Welcome in. You can see fingers, nails on the guys at door with gloves on. I agree. I feel like you can see the outline of some of the actual indentions in the skin. I agree with that. What's up, Jack? Seam of the balaclava has a thin shadow that appears as eyebrows on the porch guy that can mislead the description of the culprit. I agree. It almost even looks like he could have like glasses on or something. But I don't think so. But yeah, I get what you're saying, like that shadow. Hello, Lucky Kitty. Check out the rubber insulated gloves specifically used by electricians. If you guys want to shoot me an email of what you're talking about, send me an email. You can always reach me at sleuthintuition.com. Hit the contact page and let me know what you think. You can send me links there if you'd like as well. What up? Because He must know Nancy had cameras in her home, hence why the mouth light. Exactly. Maybe he's the one that installed the camera or knew the guy that did. Or is working nearby. 2 pairs of the same gloves. Okay, Kuna. We'll have to do that next time. Sadly, I think it was so he could hold her down and take with 2 hands in her bed. You might be right. You might be right. He definitely wanted both hands. No signs of a break-in. Did he pick the lock? Did he somehow kind of jimmy his way in? With flashlight in your mouth, try to bend as to grab something. Yeah, I've done that. You can barely tell that this light is in your mouth. You can bite down on it if you want. It'll turn on and off. But honestly, I found it easier to use that little switch. It's just like this little tiny switch, and it's so simple to just click on and off. And just like the thumbnail, you can see once you click it on, it's almost easier just to hide this tiny flashlight in your mouth. Don't even about turning it on and off. If you want to use it, just use your tongue to kind of point it outward. It's extremely easy. I think this is the light right here that was used. I can't be certain, but I think so. And if this is the light, to me, it points to somebody technical, somebody that works with both hands. And I think that they typically would use a different kind of a light in their mouth or on their head. They might have like a headlamp typically, but on this night, this made sense, right? I'll just take this off of my keychain. Why? Because they're a technical person. Maybe it was a gift. Maybe, somebody got it for them. Maybe they received it at a job site. But for whatever reason, typically they would have a headlamp or just stick a more obvious kind of a flashlight in their mouth. But they wanted to do the same thing, but be a little more incognito. So they definitely planned this out, in my opinion. Quite a bit. Thank you, Don. All right. If you guys are part of the replay crew, holla at your boy. Sorry we missed you. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the sleuthing that we did today. If you need to get a hold of me, sleuthintuition.com. Tag page. And if you want to support my channel, you can hit the Cash App, the Venmo. You can get some merch at the website. All those links will be in the description. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Be there or be square. Peace, guys.